Hi everyone, this is Young Lee from Smart Art by Young Lee. Today I'm making a video about the shading, how to shade correctly and efficiently. Some people have asked if I could make a video about shading, and I'm going to show you what is the good shading and how to make a good shading for a good drawing. Basically, shading means you make lines that accumulate on a plane, on a surface, and these lines together build up a plane that is shaded. So if you have a pencil, everyone can shade, but fundamentally, you shade like this. And I would say good lines are looking like this, straight, and each lines are separated. It means there is no knot or no chains end of the lines. And if there is darker part, then basically these kind of lines are layered, kind of like this. And one more time and one more time, then this plane is going to be darker. Bad lines or bad shading is looking like so you can see there are chains and knot end of the lines, and of course it can be also like this. It's not consist and it's not one direction. It can go with more direction. Of course, there are styles. There are different drawing styles, and different artists make their different ways to draw. If it is more expressive style of drawing, you may also use this kind of line. I also sometimes do, but not in the main part of the drawing. Like when I have to draw quicker and with more speed, then the lines could be like this, like on some cloth part or in a very dark, very dark part, then the lines could be like this. But basically, the good lines should be looking like this. Also, the lines can follow the form. It means the line's direction can align how the form looks. So, for example, if I draw something similar like this form, this cylinder is long and round. So the lines can go, of course, at the beginning like this, and it will make shadow. Then the basic direction can be like this. So it makes a shadow. And once you have the basic layer in this direction, then the darker part you can make lines. You can divide the lines like this. and again one layer on this direction, and also from this upper part. So basically this here is the highlight and here is the reflection light, and there is the shadow. And of course this one could be darker. Something like this. If there is a sphere or a ball, let's say we get the light from here, so this will be maybe the highlight and this part will be the darkest part, and it gets shadow like this. Then you can also shade how the ball is forming, and then break the line shorter. And also this direction. So basically this can be the result. The shadows is getting lighter or blurred this direction, because the darkest part of the shadow must be under the object. As you see, this is a ball. It's a big round volume, so the shading shouldn't disturb making this roundness, this volume, and break this volume. It means if you would make here suddenly too dark, this would not help to make this roundness, this volume. So make sure that the steps shouldn't be too big. There are scales like from very light tone to more middle tone. goes to the darkest. Tone like this. So there is a scale from light to dark. So in each steps, it's very small steps. So the graduation should be made like really naturally. And if the plane is not stopping and not cropped, but it goes round like this or this, the lines and the tone should be also made like this. It should have very small steps. Always there is the darkest tone and then the reflections light. Reflections light is made from the reflected light. So it means the light, it gets the light from maybe like from upper side directly here, and this object make a form like go in. So the light is coming, is laying on the bottom, and it reflects where the objects touch the bottom, the floor. So it's the same. The light is not only coming on the object, but touches the floor and it reflects. The light reflects to the object. There, of course, should be more steps, but I make it this very simple, so it's not a perfect bow, but I hope you will understand the concept. So this form and this form, you can imagine that in portrait drawing, this could be a head, or this could be an eyeball, or maybe the nose tip. You can apply this kind of form everywhere. As well, this cylinder form is also can be used in many different cases, like it can be a neck, maybe it can be the nose bridge, it can be fingers, it can be arm. When you draw a portrait, you can replace the form with this kind of a simple basic form. So if you have this knowledge, then you can apply this knowledge everywhere. Not only portrait drawing, but also figure drawing for bodies. For example, everything in the nature can be replaced with this kind of a simple form. There is also like this form, or maybe this form. There are a lot of simple form that can be replaced in a very complicated form, but you can really understand everything with this theory that everything can be replaced. In my opinion, there are also lines that are sticking inside. When we draw something on the paper, it means you have the feeling when you draw lines, it can stick inside the paper. So it means you press the pencils to make the lines. It doesn't matter how dark the line is. You press and the lines is very strong, and each line has the strength and it sticks in the paper. But there are also lines, in my opinion, that are sliding on the paper surface as if the paper was ice surface and the lines are sliding on the paper. So they are not sticking in the paper, but they are just on the surface. It's a superficial level of the drawing. So for example, if I would make lines that are sticking, the lines can be like this. But if I would make lines that are sliding, it could look like of course, these kind of lines are rather for the light part in a drawing, like on the face, maybe on the forehead or on the cheekbone, or maybe on the nose bridge, where rather lighter than dark. So for me, these kind of sliding lines, which are made on the surface of the drawing, it's kind of embedding the lines, or the shading embeds the drawing with the air, with the atmosphere. So it makes the drawing very soft, and it can also show the material of the surface, which are like a skin, or if it is on clothing area. These lines, mostly at the end, I use this kind of a sliding lines that really are useful to accomplish the drawing with the air. The air is embedding and surround these lines, can be able to make the object, which are like in this case portrait, the person surrounded by the air, the atmosphere. So maybe I can show you some drawings that I made before. This kind of lines, or these kind of lines, they are on the surface level. But these and these, they are sticking in the paper. So I press more. Of course, because it's dark, I press more. But also some lighter part. For example, here are lines that pressing a bit. In the iris, the glass looking part, like this lighter part, is also sliding. A good example of sticking lines is when you make the eyebrows, that are very good example, or maybe the lashes, because mostly they have kind of some part that start and end. So the starting part, you can really press it, or maybe like this. It depends on the direction, how you make the lines. And also on the lighter part, on the skin, there are some wrinkles and some lines. This case, you can also use kind of sticking lines. You have the feeling that it sticks in the paper. A good example for sliding lines are the background. the atmosphere. When I want to make it dark, the background, then I use the sliding lines, which are also dark. So it's not bothering, it's not disturbing. The lines should be soft, and you should feel the air and the atmosphere in with the shading, with the lines. Also, on the light part, for example, here are like lines that are sliding for me. And this kind of point here, I also use kind of sticking lines that just one line, but it's very efficient and effective to use here in this case. It indicates a small and a very sharp shadow. And where is very big contrast, like here, also these kinds lines are sticking lines. For the hair, they are more like a sticking lines that makes the hair strain. The direction of the hair, to show this, the lines can be sharp and the lines can be thin, and each lines can be separated. So these are kind of lines that are used for the hair as well. But on the skin part, these lines are really on the surface. It's a more sliding lines. For the lips, you can mix sliding and sticking lines. For the wrinkles, the lip wrinkles, I use kind of sticking lines, but with less pressure. I don't press a lot, but the lines can be sharp and each lines can be visible. And sometimes at the end, I shade on the whole area with sliding lines, so it makes the whole part a bit darker. So in this case, it's also sliding lines. Here you can see these lines are, I told you before, these can be a bit noted, a bit chain. You can see here, it's visible. But in this case, it makes the drawing more dynamic and expressive. So sometimes it's good to use this kind of line. It gives speed. It makes the drawing very powerful, and it also indicates the ability of the artist and the mastery of the artist, who are confident to use various different styles of lines. And also, I don't depict here this part like the face or the hair part. So when you want to finish particular part, like unfinished, like not perfect, then these kind of lines are useful. And also each lines can have distance, so it can show the movement. So it's I like using this kind of lines in this case. Also, there are a lot of sliding lines on the surface. So some people commented that my drawing seems to be like a painting, because I guess the lines make the surface like not lineary at the end, but more divided planes, small part of the bone and muscle structure. this part are more with the sliding lines, but like this one single sticking line I use. So for example here, if you want to depict some wrinkles on the cloth, then the lines can be really sticking and shows how speedy the artist have worked on this part. This kind of sticking lines is not bad here, but it's very effective to show the ability. Also here you can see the difference of here the clothing part and the face and skin part. It's definitely with intention that I made here just very speedy, and you can also see there are noted, and also the chains. Each line has chain, and I don't mind use this kind of lines in this case, but on the surface of the skin I really be careful that no lines are sticking, so it make the skin very smooth, and there is no any border part, even though he has like a high cheekbone and small up and downs on the surface. It shouldn't have a lot of contrast, so there are a lot of small steps between these and these, except the highlight. It shouldn't make very strong edges, so this is bothering to make the skin smooth. Of course, these small corners and edge, these are sticking lines that I use, and some wrinkles as well, but otherwise these are all smooth and sliding lines. Here I shaded at the end, just like this direction, because I wanted to make the hair like this kind of volume. So I left the highlight here as it is, and after the highlight I made the whole part like this direction, so at the end you can enclose your intention like in this kind of technique. Also, this is the shadow of the hair, so I shaded this direction everywhere, and then I made this light part and this light part separately. Inside of the white eye, of course, the lines should be sliding. It's not sticking nowhere. Also, on the face part, surface, there is no sticking lines. It's all about the sliding lines on the surface level. But of course the darker part, and especially the dimple part and some wrinkles, the face, the muscles direction, I stick a bit, but not that much. But otherwise this part is all sliding part, except for these wrinkles, and of course the hairs are mostly sticking lines here as well. Some neck part is also a bit sticking lines, but makes more variety on the drawing. It makes the drawing not boring. Here is something different. Here I intentionally made the background, the atmosphere, a bit roughly, because I wanted finish this drawing in this style, in this unfinished style, and I didn't want to depict too much. So I made it rough. This is something different kinds, but it's kind of a mixture, a mix of sticking lines and sliding lines together. I wanted the lines to be visible, so this is a kind of an intention. I actually don't know how the other drawing teachers explaining about shading. I have to probably search some other YouTube drawing teachers and I have to make another second video about the shading. But for now, I think I gave some insight of my practice, how I shade for my drawing work. And I hope it was helpful for you guys for your own practice. And I am open to have or to receive all the requests and requirement from you guys. Please feel free to ask and suggest to me any kind of themes in drawing. I am ready to make videos according to your suggestion and requests. So please let me know what I can make more. Thank you so much for watching my video, also watching my video until the end. I hope I will see you in the next video. Have a good day. Bye.